Hello and welcome back to the Stationary Dev. Today we are going on a bit of an adventure. In this video I'm going to attempt to show you how I clean a TWSBI ECO. TWSBI ECO is a great pen. A lot of people have them. A lot of people have lots of them. I'm going to show you how I clean mine, just so you kind of know how to clean a piston filler, or I can kind of show you how I do mine. Now, people sort of clean pens to different extents than other people. I try to get mine pretty clean, but I'm not like a super stickler. I'm not going to be busting this thing down and putting it in a ultrasonic cleaner or anything like that. Also, to note, I usually do this in my kitchen at my sink, but today I'm going to be trying to do it at my desk, so that way I still have some decent lighting and it's not too big of an operation. So I do have some bowls with water and stuff like that I'm going to be using, and so hopefully it turns out well. If it doesn't, well, I'm glad you're here anyway. So there's two main ways to clean a piston filler pen. So this video is going to kind of focus on cleaning a piston filler pen. There's two main ways that people clean a piston filler pen. You can either just use the piston and crank it back and forth a bunch of times, just sucking water in and out, in and out, in and out, and eventually it'll be clean enough to where you can just, you're good to just refill it with the next ink. Or you can also get a little bit more in depth and take off the, take out the nib and feed and really give it a good rinse. Some people would even take out the piston, but I don't really think that's necessary, but you can do the disassembly thing as well. The way I do it, I kind of do a combo of these two. So let's get stuck in. The first thing that you need is obviously like a sink or a faucet, or in this case, I don't have a sink or faucet at my desk. So I will be using bowls. So I have a bowl for my wastewater, and then I have a couple bowls for our cleaning water. So here's our first one we're going to use. And it just has regular water. I don't have soap or anything else in here. Just a regular bowl of water. Next thing we're going to need is, or that I use, is a blunt tip syringe. So this is it's an old one. You can tell it's sort of rubbed off there, but this is like a 10 mil syringe. Whoops. That I got, I believe I got this one from Pin Chalet. Not sure. But it's a big syringe, so it's good for flushing a lot of water through stuff. I'm also going to be probably using a bulb syringe just because I don't have a faucet, so this is a quick way to get lots of water moving. And, of course, paper towels. And we're going to need paper towels. We might need a lot of paper towels, so we'll see. So let's get stuck in. First thing I'm going to do to clean the pen is I'm just going to give it a good old rinse. I would usually just stick this under the faucet and rinse it under the faucet, but in the absence of that, I'm just going to kind of give it some swishes in the water here. And then we're going to, suck up the water into the pen. We'll push it out, and then we're going to suck up the water and push it out. Here we have the beautiful, I'm covering up the beautiful ink going everywhere. Now this pen was inked with Monteverde Sapphire Blue. It's a bottle of ink I'm trying to use up, so that's why I put it in this TWSBI with a stub nib and a piston filler, trying to use up this ink. And I haven't used this pen. It's been written dry for maybe 2 months now or longer. So it's been a long time since I've cleaned this pen or wrote with it. So this will be a good test on my cleaning skills. So I'll run it about that many times till the water starts turning clearer. You might kind of give it a shake just to get the stuff in the back of the converter or in the back of the piston. And we'll just get that water out of there. And we'll get rid of this. Try to get as much water as we can out of there. And I'll show you what I'll do next. So there's our first sort of batch of wastewater. Got some water being flung. I'm going to get rid of that bowl. And we'll bring in some cleaner water. Now, like I said, the next thing I do is sort of a combination of the two methods. So the next thing I'm going to do is take out the nib and feed. The nib and feed for the TWSBIs is really easy to get out. All you have to do is just grab it with some pressure and pull straight out. Don't twist it or anything like that, just pull absolutely straight out. And then we have the pin, we have the feed, try to get a decent shot of that, and we have the nib. And you'll see that they got ink on them. So I'm just gonna kind of give them a swish in here. Some people soak them overnight. I'm not that thorough. I'm just gonna sort of give them a swish in here. And I'm gonna bring over our waste bowl. And we're just gonna give these a little bit of a flush with our blunt syringe. Soak up some water. Just gonna flush out that channel. Down the feed, there is a channel. You can see it there where the ink goes down, and I'm just going to rinse that out. Real good. That's probably good. And then the nib is pretty clean there. I don't see there's much else I can do there. So I'm going to place both of these on a paper towel. They're pretty much good to go. I'm going to put these on the paper towel and let them dry. Kind of roll around that feed a little bit so it can start drying out. But it'll dry out pretty much instantaneously. All right. And then we're left with our body of our TWSBI with some ink and junk in there. And this is where this comes in handy. So I'm going to suck up a bunch of water. And we're going to go to town. Now there is a little hole that the feed goes through in there. And so I'm going through that hole. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but yeah, there you go. You can kind of see the hole there. And first I'm going to just wash out this part. Then I'm going to go through the hole. And really get it clean. There you go. You see some purpley bits coming out. I'm going to sort of spin the pin, work the piston. Hopefully you can see this. It's kind of hard to film washing out stuff in buckets on your desk. So hopefully this is making sense. And there you go. I mean, if you want to stop there, that's a pretty clean TWSBI ECO, a pretty clean nib, and a pretty clean feed. I'm just going to give it one more little rinse with the syringe, just to get out any little things. And I'm making a huge mess of water that I didn't plan on making. Luckily I have this desk mat. There we go. Now what you do next sort of depends. Actually, first I'll show you this. So you can see, or maybe you can't, there's a little bit of ink in the cap. Usually, once again, I just run this under the faucet and that takes care of that. But we'll do our blunt syringe again. Just run some water through that cap. It's not gonna hurt it at all. Do it one more time. And I can even go in with the blunt syringe too if I want to get. Oh, I won't use that water. I'll use my clean water, clean air water. I kind of want to get around the edges. Kind of want to get around the screw up there. I mean, that's good enough for me, honestly. I'm not too much of a stickler for the cap. Like, I know ink is going to get in the cap. That's what a fountain pen, that's what happens. But yeah, and then I would kind of stop there. So you can sort of, it's optional, you can sort of let it dry overnight. I'm going to move these out of the way. before I make even bigger mess. And I'm going to try to clean up some of this water. But like I said, you can leave it to dry overnight. I used to do that with all of my pens. When I sort of first started out, I would dry everything overnight. Now I don't really worry about it. It's just water. It's not going to affect your ink or your pen at all. So I just go ahead and put everything back together and either go ahead and put it in storage or go ahead and ink it up with another ink. One thing I will do is just sort of give this cap a good dry. I'm just using paper towel, shoving it in there as far as I can, and then we're going to give it some twists just to get just a little bit of ink there. But that's pretty good. So putting it back together, once again, we do it the same way we did it the first time. You're going to take your feed, and I can actually zoom in a little bit now. We're going to take our feed. You can see the top there is that one with that line that goes all the way down. Your nib will kind of lock into those little sides. You see there's that little ridge right there where your nib will kind of lock into, keep it straight. And then you'll pick a orientation that makes sense to you for your pen. So the TWSBI nibs, or the TWSBI sort of pins kind of have this triangular thing. So try to get the top of the nib to the top of a triangle. And make sure that the nib and the feed are aligned. And then all you're going to do is just give it a little push. There you go. And then if you fill it up and it's like dripping or something, ink or anything like that, it's probably because you didn't set the nib right or something like that. But yeah, there you go. Nib and the pen, and this is ready to ink up. So I would have no problem inking this right back up with another ink or the same ink or whatever. But I'm not going to do that at the moment, so I'm going to put it in storage, and that's good for me. Some people will kind of be worried about the water on the inside. If you want, you can like let the piston down and then sort of try to let it dry overnight. Maybe take your towel, your paper towel, and get that, but really it's super duper dry. So all of that I found, if I just store it like this, that water will just sort of evaporate by itself. So there's no need to worry there. So there you have it. 13 minutes got us a clean TWSBI ECO. I would do it a lot faster if I was in the kitchen at the sink. So you can probably, do it in 5 minutes once you got the right tools and you're not trying to explain it to people. We got a really clean TWSBI ECO that was really dirty and had a bunch of dried, nasty ink in it. So there we go. That was my review or my video for today. We cleaned out a piston fill pen. You can do that with pretty much any piston fill pen. You can remove the nib. Like the Pelicans are super easy. You just unscrew the nib of the Pelicans and they come right out and you can flush them out the same way. But yeah, so hopefully that helped and got you a tip or trick that you didn't know before. Please feel free to once again like and comment and subscribe, and or comment and subscribe. It's a free and easy way to support the channel, and then also just pen content, fountain pen, stationery content in general. And then it also lets you know when I release new videos. So I try to get new content out every single week. And so that's an easy and free way to get updated about that. So appreciate you watching this video, and until next time, see you guys.